Kindly sit down, please. The President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Boswell Obot Akpabio, ably represented by Senate President Emeritus and Chairman Senate Committee on Defense, Senator Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, GCON. Senator Adams Aliu Oshomole, Chairman Senate Committee on Interior. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, ably represented by the Vice Chairman, House Committee on Defense, Right Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi Kalambaina, and all the members of the National Assembly present here. The Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, my own Ms. Amina Mohammed. The former Prime Minister of the Republic of Guinea, His Excellency Lansana Kouyaté, the former President of ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Umar Aliu Toure, ably represented by the ECOWAS Commissioner, Political Affairs, Peace and Security Ambassador Abdul Fattah Musa, the Honorable Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Muhammad Bello Matoli Maradun, the former Minister of External Affairs, former permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, elder statesman, Professor Ibrahim Agbola Gambari, CFR. The convener and chief host, the Nigerian Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, OFR, and other service chiefs and defense chiefs from African countries. All service chiefs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former chiefs of defense staff, and service chiefs present here. I'm quite delighted and appreciative of their showing solidarity with General Gwabin Musa. I want to mention Air Chief Marshal Mohammed Alamin Dagash, General A.O. Ogbomudia, General Martin Luther Agwai, Admiral O.S. Ibrahim, Air Chief Marshal O.O. Peterin, General A.G. Olonishakin, General, my own, this is my own very personal friend, General Loki Elionye Oye Nuchua Irabo, and former service chiefs, Lieutenant General O.A. Ihejerika, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, Vice Admiral A.Z. Gambo, and Air Marshal I.O. Amao. We truly appreciate your presence here. Heads of military establishments and senior military officers, both serving and retired, heads of security and paramilitary agencies present here, members of the diplomatic corps, members of the academia, especially a Pan-Africanist and activist, Professor Patrick Lodge Otiono Lumumba. International organizations represented here, captains of industry, equally represented by the MD, by the Group Chief Operating Officer of NNPC, heads of federal government agencies and parastatals, distinguished delegates, members of the fourth estate of the Rim, honored guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to first of all appreciate our own irrepressible Eugenia Abu. She is a 19. When she graduated from ABU Zaria with a degree in English in 1981, I was a secondary school pupil. She's a creative writer. She has MSc, MA in Comparative Policy Studies from City University of London, and another MA in Creative Writing from another university in the UK. He wrote 2 books. One, an essay and a poetry, a book of poems. So Eugenia Abu, we are ever grateful. For 17 years, she was the anchor at NTA, NTA's prime time news. by 9 p.m. She retired, but not tired. She retired as an executive director of programs at NTA. So we have to eulogize you. We have to celebrate you. We have to honor you, and we have to respect you. The reality of our geography has made us more than kith and kin. We are bound as a family, sharing not just borders, but destiny. And in this family, defense is the first expression of love each member can promise the other. This gathering is therefore not just a convergence of uniforms and titles. It is a summoning of Africa's guardians to the village square of ideas. There has never been a time when our collective defense invited us so urgently to sit together and reason together. This summit, the first of its kind, could not have come at a better time. I am therefore deeply honored to welcome each of you to Abuja, the heart of Nigeria and the home of Africa's endless possibilities. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the enormity of threats across our continent compels us to pause and reflect. From the deserts where insurgency festers to the high seas where piracy prowls, from the silent corridors of cybercrime to the ruthless networks of transnational criminals, none of these tragedies respect borders, and neither should our response. What is true of our challenges must also be true of our resolve. We cannot neutralize these threats in isolation. This is the moment to reassess our military objectives in the collective aspirations to make Africa safe. It is time to forge a new doctrine of continental defense, one rooted in trust, shared intelligence, and coordinated strategy. Nigeria's promise has always been simple and firm: to be a good neighbor and a brother's keeper in the struggle for peace. Our armed forces have stood shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors and far beyond in peacekeeping missions, counter-terrorism operations, and humanitarian endeavors. We hold no illusion. Security is the foundation upon which the edifice of progress must stand. That is why we must use this summit not merely as a meeting, but as a covenant to deepen cooperation through joint training, harmonized doctrines, and interoperable systems. For this to endure, we must build a framework where our defense institutions speak with one voice and act with one purpose. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the nature of warfare has evolved. The threats of today are asymmetric, digital, and often invisible. Our response must not be less dynamic. We must invest in cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and indigenous military innovation. Africa cannot remain merely a consumer of technology. We must be creators, innovators, and owners of the tools that secure our tomorrow. I therefore urge this summit to explore avenues for defense industrial collaboration, research partnerships, and African-led solutions to African security challenges. In this journey, I call upon the organized private sector to be our ally, to invest in the future of defense as an investment in the survival of nations. Our struggles for peace have not come without heroes and heroines. Across battlefields known and unknown, valiant men and women of our armed forces have laid down their lives in defense of their nations. Their sacrifice is the eternal price of peace, and the least we can do is honor them by ensuring their legacy is enshrined in the institutions we build, the values we uphold, and the partnerships we forge. So this summit must not dissolve with the applause of its closing session. I propose the establishment of a permanent African Chiefs of Defense Staff Forum, a platform for continuous dialogue, strategic foresight, and operational coordination. Let us institutionalize this spirit of unity and make it a cornerstone of Africa's security architecture. The future of Africa depends on the choices we make today. Let us rise above division and embrace cooperation. Let us imagine and build an Africa where peace is not the exception but the norm, where the language of war gives way to the grammar of progress, and where the dignity of our people is shielded by our collective resolve. Finally, I reserve for special recognition and in deference to my sister, Ms. Amina J. Mohammed, I wish to recognize and appreciate Field Marshal Ogogo Lillian Musa. You know, the wives of our service chiefs, our army officers are a step above their husband. Then General Gwabin Musa is a general, so I will address her as Field Marshal Ogogo Lillian Musa. We appreciate you. We thank you most sincerely with your team for holding the home port. You are the fulcrum on which our society rests. We are mightily proud of you and we appreciate your efforts. On behalf of the government and people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I welcome you once again to Abuja. May your deliberations be fruitful, your partnerships enduring, and your vision clear and focused. On this note, it is my singular honor and privilege, on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to declare open the African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit, Abuja 2025. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Very much.